Welcome to another show of Two Peas and a Bomb. It's your boy KP. I'm sitting here with a young man, young student athlete. Tell us your name, man.
My name is Kallai Patton.
Patton. Familiar last name. Uh, this is my son, y'all. He is a student athlete. He's in college, and I will be interviewing him today to give you guys just a glimpse of a day in the life and the path of a student athlete. So, Kallai, man, tell us where you are right now. What school you at?
I'm at University of Southern California. I'm
Okay.
a freshman.
Okay. And what sport do you play?
Basketball.
Shout out to them Trojans. I know that you're here, but take us back down memory lane. Talk to us.
Uh, what I remember, I started training. I think I was like 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time picking up basketball. I remember going outside on the little courts, shooting, doing layups. I never really trained by myself. I was always with Kevin, so it was a little different. And then he was just pushing me to be better when I was young. And then played basketball 3-on-3 when I was 5. Started playing 5-on-5 when I was in third grade, and then just kept it going from there.
You said Kevin pushed you. How did he push you?
I always just wanted to be wherever he was. So, I mean, if he was going to make layups and making shots, I wanted to make just as many or more than he did. So if it was something that he was doing, I just always wanted to do the same thing, whether it was riding a bike or getting up shots, dribbling, running, something like that. Yeah.
And who was training you at this point?
You were trained. You were definitely trained. Yeah.
So, I had this vision for my sons, for them to be athletes. And one of the things I did was I played basketball back in my day. I played a little football, ran track. I did all kind of sports, but I wanted my sons to play basketball. I was like, they're gonna be basketball players. But I didn't introduce basketball to them first. I introduced other sports, and I let them watch me watch basketball and see my excitement. And I figured that they would want to be like me. So if they saw me excited, then in turn they would get excited. Did you ever get excited about basketball? Do you remember watching basketball with me?
Yeah, I would say the first time I got excited for basketball, I was watching. I mean, back then I was watching Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade. I used to watch Allen Iverson clips. Yeah, mainly those three people.
Okay.
I was really watching them.
And they all were the same number.
Yeah, I mean, I was big on number 3 back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I remember that. I remember that. And then it got to a point where they did not like watching games with me. And tell them why you didn't like watching games with me.
um, because you would always rewind and be like, "Did you catch that?" Or, I mean, it was looking back, it was a teaching point, but I was trying to watch the game.
We had that TiVo, y'all. It was when TiVo, you could rewind, you could stop, you can pause. And I was trying to get them to see and understand how the play developed. They were celebrating the dunk, but I'm like, but you got to look at the cut and look at the setup. And yeah, they were young and they were not feeling it. They just wanted to watch the highlights, and I was like, learn the game. Um, and yeah, and so some of the training regimens at 4 years old. Walk us through that. Like, what were some of the
Um,
crazy things you remember doing at 4 years old?
I definitely remember dribbling a lot with my left hand. That was my off hand, so I always made sure I dribbled with my left. Uh, I remember doing L cuts, so start on the block,
Mm-hmm.
run up, pop out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember doing that a lot, and then once I get the ball in the wing, just two dribble, get to the basket, layup, right hand, left hand. Uh, yeah, I remember doing those specific drills a lot.
As you became teenagers, what were some of the hardest things I had you do as a teenager?
Uh, well, when I was in 6th grade, I think it was 6th grade, running. It was like a mile and a half at 5:30 in the morning.
Wait, what was this at?
This was in Arizona, in San Valley.
Why were we running in the morning?
It was hot.
Yeah, you got to put it in context for the people.
It was hot there.
Okay,
But
so 5:30 in the
was
morning.
hard. And then
You said a mile and a half.
it was something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And then actually when I was in like 5th grade or beginning of 6th grade in Minnesota, we used to do 1,000 jump ropes a day, and we used to run, I think, 500 stairs. And we had stairs in the house, so just one all the way up and down was one.
It wasn't. I don't think it was. It was 50. He got his zeros off. I know it wasn't no 500.
I think it started at 50.
It was 50,
and then it was like 100, 200, 300. It got up there.
Do you think it helped you athletically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say it helped me. Well, one, it helped my legs get stronger. I remember being hyped, like being able to touch the ceiling, and then by the end of like the training and everything, I was trying to get my head to touch the ceiling.
These are 8-foot ceilings, y'all. So yeah, by the time we were moving from Minnesota, Kallai was a 6th grader. Kevin, his older brother, that's also at USC, 7th grader. They were jumping and dang near hitting their heads on an 8-foot ceiling in 6th and 7th grade. We didn't just do it athletically and physically. We were also doing it academically. So their mother, which is my wife, we actually had a school. We were homeschooling them, so we were their teachers. I was their trainer. I was their coach. And we just had this whole thing going, and we were just pushing them to excel. So we moved from Minnesota. We came to Arizona. What was one of the difference in styles of play and stuff like that you saw?
Minnesota was definitely more physical. It was just grimier. Like, I feel like little children, like the children, they just wanted more in Minnesota. Arizona was a little more laid back. It still was talent out there for sure, but just coming from like a more physical game, I was just able to use that in Arizona, and that's like one way that I was able to succeed when I was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
And what grade were you in when you first dunked the basketball?
It was into 7th grade. It's like 7th grade summer going into 8th. I had my first dunk in the layup line, and then
y'all hear that?
No,
y'all hear that?
Then
all that working out that I had them doing. You hear that? When did you dunk?
7th grade.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the 7th. Yeah. The same day I got my first dunk, I tried to do an 8-game dunk. Hours later, and I threw it over the rim.
I remember that. One thing he's kind of leaving out is, well, I think it was a little later. I did have them running at 100 degrees, 105 degrees. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I did have them doing extreme stuff because I think that there's a level of extreme that you have to teeter with to get to the next level. Because you're talking about being in the 1 percentile. Only 1% play Division I basketball. 1%. So I think you have to get to some kind of level of extreme to push them to that point. Did you ever cry during workouts?
I don't remember crying that much.
Okay.
Maybe a little.
Okay. I mean, when they was young, man, I remember holding the arms out. How long you used to hold your arms out?
I remember specifically doing that for 30 minutes.
Yeah. This was not a punishment.
Holding them out.
Are these bringing back memories?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever feel like, man, my dad was too hard on me?
Nah.
Even as a kid, you didn't feel like that?
Well, like as a kid, like in the moment, or like right now?
Yeah, as a kid in the moment.
In the moment, yeah, I definitely did. Those runnings at running at 5:30 at that point, I was like, there were a lot of days where I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, make me run for no reason. Like, yeah, I'd barely be awake, and then in Minnesota actually, we did go to the track a couple times.
Oh yeah, we did.
And it'd be hot.
Yeah, in the summer,
and like
it'd be humid.
Burning.
Yeah,
we were doing ladders. Yeah, That's probably where I cried, actually. When we were doing that.
And I used to get out there and do stuff with them.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was just I'm sitting there drinking some lemonade and watching them struggle. It was I'm out there with them. Sometimes I'm recording because I want them to have this memory so that we can see it when they get older, and I'm tracking the process. And then sometimes I'm out there physically doing it with him so that they can see, okay, dad is grinding too. Dad isn't just talking it. I know dad says that he was an athlete back in his day, but I just see this washed man that talks all this stuff and makes me do this stuff. Now I was actually out there doing it with him. Now that you're older, how do you feel looking back on it?
I'll say a lot of stuff helped. Like, it just gave me an advantage at an early age, really, especially athletically. Um, Doing the running, doing a lot of the jumping I was doing. Yeah, I would say that really helped. Also, IQ of the game, knowing what an L cut is at that age, that's pretty good. Like, a lot of people don't know what an L cut is in high school on varsity.
Yeah. Like we did, and that wasn't the only cut. We did L
No,
cuts,
yeah,
we did
we
D
did
cuts,
D
we
cuts.
did I cuts, we did some Iverson cuts. We did a bunch of cuts, and when to use them, how to set your man up, how to get open, catching on a jump stop so you could use either pivot to step off of. We did a lot of stuff. You like
Yeah.
finishing with either hand, passing with either hand, um, jumping off either leg. So it's like, you know, they can jump off either leg, dunk with either hand. I'm gonna talk about his brother for a second. Your brother's getting letters and he's getting offers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you had one offer, and tell him your offer. What was your offer?
Northern Arizona, ninth grade.
Okay, so in the ninth grade year, he gets an offer from NAU, and that is a Division I school. NAU offers, his brother gets the same offer NAU, and then his brother starts to get more offers, and then you don't see offers. What are you thinking mentally?
I mean, honestly, I would just like keep going. I think it was sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember looking at the talent around me, looking at his talent. I'm like, I can get there. I just got to keep working. And then I knew I was only a sophomore, so like my time was a little different. He's going to his junior year, so I mean, you're more than likely going to get offers his junior year. Like sophomore, if you're not like a 4 or 5 star, it's going to be harder for you just to get in contact with coaches and coach get in contact with you. So my mindset was just like keep working, just show what you can do, play to your strengths. Like, you're gonna get there. You're gonna keep growing. You're gonna keep learning. And then I knew what it was like to train, so just like keep training.
How discouraged were you when the offers weren't coming now you're a senior.
Yeah,
The offers weren't coming.
it was a little reality check, just knowing like stuff can be taken away in a flash.
Mm-hmm.
So senior year, I it was like it's time to get back on your feet. Like not knowing where you're gonna go after. It's just like you gotta really do something and just stay positive because junior year it was hard. Like there were points where I was down on myself, I was being negative, but senior year I knew I didn't have time for it, and yeah, I just had to push through it. Honestly,
At what point did you see yourself going to school with your brother?
honestly, I don't know. Like when I was a little kid, I probably did think about it a lot more, but in high school, I didn't really know if I seen it like that, just because he was getting stuff that I wasn't. So I'm like, the chance, but it's very small. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like,
And they're a year apart, you guys. They're 1 year apart. Kevin Patton Jr. is a year older. Kallai's a year younger. That's why I'm asking that question. Matter of fact, what was the first college you ever went to?
Uh, it's actually UCLA.
Yeah, it was.
I did go to UCLA. Took a picture with the Bruin and everything.
Yeah, he's holding the Bruin. Him and Kevin. But
But
that same day,
same day, I did go to USC.
absolutely.
An hour later. Yeah.
Shout out to Stephon Johnson. It's my brother right there. Stephon Johnson on the football team with Pete Carroll and the USC Trojans. Invited me up there. He said, yo, Kev, come on up here. Bring the family, you family. And we went on up there. And when we went on up there, what happened? What was that experience like?
I was probably 4 years old, but I remember going on the field. We were actually there for football, so
Yeah.
wasn't even there for basketball.
Yeah.
I remember taking a picture with Taylor Mays.
Uh-huh.
Shout out Taylor Mays. Reunited with him. But took a picture with him. Took a picture. I think we took a picture with Pete Carroll too. Yeah. Looking back, it was a cool experience because not many children get to go
Great experience.
watch a football practice and then talk to the players after. So
they had him putting on the helmet. Kevin, my son Kevin got the helmet on.
yeah.
Like at that point, you could say at that point, we were sold on USC.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, Stephon Johnson, Taylor Mays. Shout out to USC because way back then, we were sold. We walked around UCLA. We did, not gonna lie, but we didn't get that same access that we got at USC. USC was like all access. And we just, man, we went from there, man. We was throwing them tools up, man. When did you find out you were going to USC?
I actually know this day by heart. May 29th.
May 29th.
May 29th.
What year?
2024. So this is
Okay.
a week before graduation. A week before I walked the stage. I didn't know where I was going.
And I'm cool as a fan, y'all. I'm cool. I knew he was stressing. I knew he was stressing. He's like, I don't know. And I'm cool as a fan. Like, no, don't worry, man. We got this. I'm working on some things. I got some tricks up my sleeves, you know. And so May 29th. So what happened, man?
I was actually, it was senior night, so.
In California, in Southern California in particular, grad night is at the same place. Where does everybody celebrate grad night for high school?
Disneyland.
Disneyland, y'all. Disneyland.
But
okay.
It was grad night, so we're going to Disneyland, and you don't know. You go there 9 a.m., and so you're there all day. I think around like 2 o'clock, I'm just standing in line, about to get on a roller coaster. It's me, like a few of my friends. I had a call. You called me. Actually.
Yeah,
You
it was me.
FaceTimed me.
Yeah, it was me.
My
I
reception
FaceTime.
is low, so I can barely hear, and all I really hear is, you got accepted. I hear USC, and I'm like going crazy in line. Like I'm hyped. I'm jumping up and down. My friends like, what happened? What happened? I tell them, like, they're all excited for me. But yeah, and the rest of the day I was happy. Like rest
on
of the
cloud
day,
nine.
I was like
on cloud nine
because I feel like it was just a weight lifted off my shoulders. Like just not know where you're gonna go, and then getting that call on grad night. So that whole day was just a great day. It was a great day.
What's going on the week of graduation?
So, week of graduation, I was planning to graduate. Two, I was also planning a grad party, and then I was also going to USC campus. They had runs, so I was getting a runs. We had a meeting with the team, just introducing ourselves, stuff like that. And then on the day after graduation, I had to get cleared by a whole bunch of doctors, so I had to go to USC.
Yeah, walk us through that process, man. What kind of doctor's appointments were they?
I remember that was like a heart appointment, that was a physical, that was like a checkup. It was probably four different appointments in the span of like, I don't know, just a few hours.
Yeah.
So we drove there, had to get cleared by all these doctors while my graduation party is later that day. So
you've got your apartment as well, right?
Oh yeah. I did get my apartment.
He's got him and his brother are moving into their apartment.
We had workouts starting very soon.
Yeah.
So had to get that done. Had to get my appointments done. Yeah, and I had to push back my graduation party an hour because I was late, and I was still late after pushing back. People at my house like, "Where's Kallai?"
Late to his own party, and then you show up, and you're there What was the first? What were runs like? Now you're playing with college students. What are these runs like?
First difference I would say was that 3-point line. That 3-point line was far. Like, especially because we had it was runs. I want to say up to 125.
Yeah.
And I've never did a run like that before. So,
are you taking breaks in between, or is it just straight?
I think it was a break every 50 points or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, first to 50, yeah, then you get a break. But yeah, it was up to 125, and then, well, once you get tired, that 3-point line, it just seemed like it was so far. You got to use more legs. I usually shoot with my wrists, arms, stuff like that, but I had to really use more leg in the runs. So that was one thing. The speed of the game was a little different. It is faster, so you got to process way faster. Passes have to be sharper. Yeah, catching a triple threat, stuff like that. Like, those were the main differences I've seen just from playing in runs.
Afterwards, you had summer workouts.
Yeah.
How hard were the summer workouts?
Conditioning part was hard. Yeah, that conditioning part was hard. Just running the miles. Not even gonna go into the mile. Running the mile, making it under a certain time, that was pretty challenging. And then
let's just say I was I should have kept preparing them like I was.
Yeah. Just the speed and the intensity of the workouts. Like,
so everybody's going hard?
Yeah, everybody's going hard. It's only for an hour because you only get 4 hours out of a week in the summer in college. So, but that 1 hour is intense. Like, you don't stop. If it's stations, you're running to each station. You don't want to be the last guy at a station. Like,
what happens if you're the last guy?
I mean, you might get called out. You might get yelled at. So,
were you ever the last guy?
I've been the last guy. Because I didn't know. Like, whistle, you better sprint to the next spot.
How fast did you find out?
I found out within the first 2 days. Like, it was a little different for me just because, one, I was really excited for first day of practice. So, like, I think it was at 8 or 9. I woke up at 6. I hardly slept that night. I'm texting the coach, yeah, how do I get a jersey? Like, I had no idea how practice was gonna be. He was like, "Don't worry about it. Like, it'll be in your locker." And
he didn't tell me he did.
I was, and then when we got there, it was like, oh, this is intense. Like, yeah, it was intense. It was fun. It was intense though.
In terms of being a student athlete in college, what's been your lowest moment?
I mean, I've had a bad practice. I have had a bad practice.
This guy. That's your lowest moment? I would have thought this dude would have said surgery.
I did. Well, I'm talking about from an athlete standpoint.
Okay.
It would be surgery. Surgery.
That's what I thought.
But like on the court was I had a bad practice. When you have a bad practice, he lets it be known that you had a bad practice. So, yeah, that was a pretty low. That was like a wake up call. Like, you need to get your stuff together. You need to keep a good attitude, and just because you have bad practice, like, it's not the end of the world too. Like, you got to come back tomorrow and you got to go hard again.
And you said coaches will call you out?
I mean, because it was basically like when I say bad practice, it was more of like a attitude thing.
Yeah,
I missed a shot. You see it in my body language. It's stuff like that. Like, just small slip-ups where it's like, in high school, you may not, like, it may fly in high school, but
yeah, you don't realize it.
At a Big Ten, USC level, it's not going to work because it's a culture thing. So, like, and that's just not part of winning culture.
So you've had to fix your body language.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many times have I talked to you about body language? Yeah. Okay. So young kids out there, young children, young players out there, young aspiring athletes, you got to fix your body language. You can't have messed up body language. And when your coaches are getting on you, how should you be standing? Like, walk them through it.
I would say don't put palms up. Palms up is probably the worst thing you could do besides talking back.
Show him the palm. Show us the palms
If
up,
you go
man.
like this, yeah, if you go like that, you're gonna end up on the line.
Mm,
So
mm.
don't put palms up. Don't talk back. I would just say yes, coach, yes, sir. Um, or if it's your fault, well, just say it's your fault. Take accountability for it. I would say that's one of the biggest things. If you take accountability for it, then
Even when it's not your fault, you gotta.
I'm not gonna say when it's not your fault, but if it's something like just you, like you did something like you're accountable for, I would say yeah.
I'm gonna say even if it's not your fault, take
And it
accountability because the
yeah
coach is calling you out.
yeah. Whenever a coach
Look,
calls you out,
this guy gonna get you in
just take
trouble.
accountability
This
for it.
guy gonna get you in trouble right here.
Whenever like yeah, if it's a pass, your teammate drops it, it goes out of bounds. Take accountability for it. Be like, you know what? It's on me, and then just take it on the chin. That's it.
Okay.
Go hard again. So that was a low moment, but lowest moment was surgery. Just going through that whole process, not knowing what was wrong with my knee exactly, and then being told, like getting called by the doctor, and then being told you're gonna need surgery.
Mm.
That was yeah, that was a harder moment to deal with,
Mm.
and then just the whole recovery process. Um, while dealing with school, because my first semester in college, I did finish with 3.0, but
Shout out to you. Shout out to you, man.
yeah,
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
yeah.
Pivoting off the game for a second and going into student life. How hard is it to juggle being a student with being an athlete and dealing with injury at this
Um,
college?
the first, I would say, during surgery, the first like 2 weeks of school, well, actually, first month
Mhm.
in surgery, that was pretty hard because I'm missing a lot of class. Um, so in class, if you don't know, there's a participation grade. So my participation grade, they could have failed me if I didn't communicate with my professors. That part was hard, like just making sure I'm staying on top of everything. Whether it was a paper asking for an extension, because I actually had papers due during my surgery date.
Mm.
So I had to communicate with them, whether it was email,
Mhm.
whether it was setting up Zooms. Uh, that part was like that part's a little different than high school. Because high school they might help you out more, especially at my school. The high school and teachers they were easier to talk to. It was a smaller school, so they did care. But at a big school like USC, they could easily just brush you off
Mm.
and not care if you don't communicate the right way. So that was a big thing for me. Just and I'm a communication major, so communicating is something I'm gonna have to do regardless.
Look at this guy. He just started communicating. Just started and taking accountability. Dude, he was Mr. Palms Up when he was young.
Well,
You, huh? Mr. Palm, and I'd be getting on him like, man, get your palms down, man. What do you do for leisure activity, man, up there?
I'm trying to start playing video games again.
Okay.
I was playing the college Madden, the college EA.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing that for a while, especially during surgery. Uh, and you just lay in the bed, like you got to figure something out. So
All right.
I'm gonna get started back with that actually. Yeah.
Hey, man, and what's the girls looking like, man? You know, the viewers want to know, man. Is there some girls up there, man?
It's a cool campus.
Huh?
I mean, there's a little
Such a gentleman. Look at this guy. We raised a gentleman, man. Raised a gentleman. Yeah. I'm not gonna talk about when I was there checking on him for surgery. So I was when he had the surgery. I was there, making sure that he had some of the things he needed, along with other people, making sure he had some of the things he needed. uh, and yeah, no, I was cool. How does it feel, man, living with your brother? Because his roommate is his brother. You talk about
It's
that.
actually
Talk about that
it's actually
dynamic.
pretty chill. Like I don't know, like we both have practice, so
Mm-hmm.
that's the easy thing. Like when he goes to practice, or when we were both healthy, he would go to workout. We both go to the workout together. We go to practice together. We come home together. Um, but I mean, it's nice. Like you get to come home after like a long day of school, long day of practice, and I mean, you just have somebody there to talk to,
Yeah.
like about anything, whether it's school or it's life, practice. I mean, yeah.
With you being okay, so he was dealing with injury, um, and now he's healthy, and now you're dealing with injury. You guys have been there for each other, supporting each other. I want to ask, and this is no disrespect when I say this, but since he's playing now, and you're on the sidelines watching, do you ever feel like Thanasis and he's Giannis Antetokounmpo?
I actually never thought about that.
Because I mean,
I
if I
mean,
listening to Jeff Teague's show, the 520 show, that's a great show.
yeah,
He talked about the impact that Thanasis has mentally on Giannis. Like Giannis is always looking for him, and like Thanasis is a big piece and a big part of his success.
yeah, I would agree. I think having your brother on the side is, I mean, I don't know. For the people outside looking in, they could just be like, "Oh, he's just there." But I would say it's more of a mental thing. More of he knows I'm always there. I know he's always there. Whether it's in a game, in practice, I mean, we're both always there. Like in a game, if I see something that he could do, then I'm gonna tell him right away. Whether it's in front of everybody, whether it's I have to take him away and tell him. But I mean, it's just another helping hand, somebody you could trust in your support system. So,
Can you give the people an example? Because I don't want you to like sound like you're saying,
oh,
"Hey, man, you know what? You need to go for
uh,
30."
I
I
don't I make sure
don't.
I don't ever tell him to be selfish, but like I told him, we just had a game against Michigan and he's guarding one of the premier players, and I'm telling him, you got to trust your feet. If
mm,
you're quicker than the guy handling the ball, so
mm.
don't sag off. Get up under him. He's taller. His dribble's higher. You're quicker than him, so get up into the ball, and trust your teammates behind you. So just small stuff like that. I would say that helps a lot.
That's
So
big, man. That's
yeah.
big. I wanted the viewers to know, man, the listeners to know, like, you ain't telling that dude.
No, I
Like,
don't ever tell him go out
at least
there
I'm
shoot the
hoping.
ball.
I'm
I
hoping.
like because I mean there's more ways to be effective than just scoring,
Okay.
especially with his athleticism, his length, stuff like that. Yeah,
Speaking of that, because you talked about being effective, I want to get back to this. I know we're jumping around, but you talk about being effective on the college level, right?
yeah,
On the high school level, you didn't understand this stuff. You thought you were a guy, you had to go out there, get 20, get 15, do these different things. There were different benchmarks for you to be successful, to have a successful season, or get offers. Now, looking at it, looking at the college level and looking at the roles that people have on teams and how they can impact the game without scoring, what do you think?
um, what I learned really is just everybody has a role.
Mm-hmm.
Your role could be going out there. They can sub you in, go set a screen, like
Mm,
go set a hard screen, go get a rebound. They could sub you in just for a free throw, and you might have to get the rebound. And that could just be your role. Or I mean, there's always going to be a guy on the team where your role is score. Like every team's gonna need a scorer. Every team's gonna need somebody that can shoot. But coming out of high school, being a freshman in college, you're more than likely your role isn't gonna be go out there and get a bucket. You're gonna have to one play defense first,
mm,
and you're gonna have to rebound and
mm,
just play hard.
mm,
You can't go out there looking for your own shot.
mm.
If it comes to you, it comes to you. But just don't go shot hunting and stuff like that.
Wow. Hey man, that you really growing up, man. You really growing up for you to say that. Like, because most children don't get that, and they don't understand it. And like, let's rewind to the youth level. The youth level, when I coach versus some of the other people coaching.
Yeah,
Do you remember the crazy thing I did with the shots?
I remember you basically told everybody how many shots they should shoot a game, like a range of how many shots they should shoot a game. My specific range was about 3 to 5.
Yeah, three to
I
five
was playing
shots.
straight up, but
Yeah, he's playing. He's playing a
three
grade
to
up.
five, and actually with that team, there was a game where I had to go in there and face guard somebody the whole game. And
Absolutely.
that was my role. Like it was go in there. He was doing his thing. and it was go in there and face guard him. Don't let him touch the ball. And it didn't matter how many shots I shot, I was still being effective just by face guarding him. So
They didn't understand it, but
and
I was
we did win the
preparing
game.
them.
I think
Yeah, we won. We went to the championship. We got our butt kicked in the championship, but we won. And we went 30-2 that year. Lost 2 games, played 32 games, won 30. But you know, you didn't understand then, but I was preparing you for college. And yeah, taking the time to write down how many shots people should take and why they should take them and other ways that they could be effective. A lot of people didn't like that. But if you look back on that team, I wonder how many of those children are playing college basketball. I know that 2 are playing for sure. College is hard, man. It can be a reality check. You know, everybody was the man on their high school team. Everybody was probably the man in their town.
Yeah.
Like in their region. In their state, they were probably the man. And now you're putting 15 guys together on a team and you're not going to be the man. You've got to, adapt to a role, accept the role, accept that, okay, I'm starting down here, but my role can expand. I've watched roles expand.
Yeah.
And I've watched roles shrink. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, it's all, I don't know, it's all a timing thing. Like, people could get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
People could, even if foul out of a game, like somebody's role could change just like that.
Yeah.
Like somebody that's not used to playing could go in there and they might have to hit a big shot or get a stop, something like that. So, roles can change. So, you just always have to be ready.
What do you miss most about not being at home?
I would say family's always a thing to miss. Just going home, seeing parents, brothers. Like, I still have my brother out there, but just like the home, the bond. I would say that's one
This
thing.
guy. Man, this guy used to be trying to get out on the weekends all the time. Didn't want to be around. You don't remember that? Now you're talking about family, man. I got to.
I mean, family's always a big thing. And then traffic in LA is a big thing too. I don't like the traffic out there. So, yeah.
Okay, so you don't like the traffic, but how's LA as a city, man?
It's a nice city.
Okay.
I mean, just like every city, there's some bad parts, but there's some really nice parts too.
Okay, so you got some LA pride now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about, man. You know, I've always got LA pride. I'm rocking the Rams. What do you do for meals, man?
I mean, we do have an athletes only dining hall.
Tell us about that athletes only, man. How's that?
They do have a breakfast. I think 7 to 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
They always have a waffle maker. Always eggs, bacon, hash browns, fruit.
Do they ever run out of food? No. Wow. And how much does that cost?
That's free. You just got to sign in.
Man, athletes only?
Yeah.
So you see all kind of athletes from all the teams?
Yeah, I've seen football, I've seen volleyball, I've seen track, I've seen swimming, I've seen rowing.
How is that when they in there? Are they cliquish or do they like, hey man, what up, athlete? How does that go?
In the beginning, it was like, I mean, people are kind of filling each other out. It's just like, you can't always tell what sport everybody plays until they have the shirt on. Or like, if you know the football players, because the football players are pitching everybody. And then our whole basketball team is new. So people really didn't know what sport we played. Right. So that was a little.
They ain't had no juice. They ain't had no juice.
Yeah, like you kind of, some people you know who they are already, and you can see them in the cafe, and it's like, oh,
okay, I got you. So I mean, so now how is it? It's like do the different athletes from different sports? Do you see them sitting together? Are they cool? They shake? Do y'all got special handshakes?
I mean, it's always a mutual respect thing. I feel like in that specific area, just because everybody is Yeah, as an athlete, you go through a lot. So I feel like it's always a mutual respect. You could dap people up. Like I had classes with some people. I would see them in the hall, dap them up.
What sport?
Track.
Okay.
Track. I had a history class with a couple track athletes.
Okay. So you and the track athletes are cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Which what group do you get along with the most?
Like athlete wise?
Yeah, athletes.
Basketball's always cool.
Not men's basketball.
I'm not talking about men's too.
Huh? I said not men's.
Oh.
I said not men's. That don't count. You on the men's team. So what group of athletes? Like what team?
I don't know. Track or girls basketball.
Okay, so track is track men's or women's?
Both. I would say both of them. Men's
okay.
And then girls basketball.
Okay. So you cool with girls basketball team? Mm-hmm. And what's that cafeteria called?
Little Galen.
Little Galen. Yeah, okay. Man, so if I go in there, man, like this, man, fresh cut, I got a football jersey on, man, I just sign my name?
No.
I can't just sign.
Your name is already printed and you got to sign by
I can't sign my name, man. I just write my name in, get some food. I don't look like a student, man. I can't. You telling me football players look, you telling me there's some.
Some.
Exactly, man. Man. Come on, man.
I was actually mistaken for a football player once.
When?
I walked in there. I thought you were one of my football players.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What did the football players mistake you as?
A track athlete. I was I had an appointment in their area and I was like in the elevator. After sport I played, I was like basketball. They were like, you look like you on the 100. Like or the 200.
Okay.
Like, nah.
You think you could have ran the 200? Okay, now, so you understand the difference between track speed and just a person that's fast.
Track speed is different. I even think football speed is different.
Okay, okay. So, I mean, I like that. So you have a respect for all the different sports.
Yeah.
You're not one that's like, man, I could go out there and dominate that person's sport.
No.
Man, I respect that. I respect that. I didn't share that sentiment growing up. I felt like I could do anything. It'd be dominant, but nah, I really respect that, man. It's great to see that you've grown up. It's great to see that you're taking accountability. Excuse me. I'm gonna always say, man, continue to hit the books. Enjoy your time there. Don't do anything stupid. And if you ever have a problem, call home. You understand?
Yeah.
Just because you're not in the house doesn't mean that you're not always welcome back to come home. You can always come home. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to tell the people?
See you again.
And it's your boy KP with 2wopeezandabong. And I'm sitting here with my son, Kallai Patton. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace out.